News Channel 11 in your corner at 6.
I'd like to see him gone from here.
I don't feel safe.
I really don't think that he's fit to be the chief.
Firefighters sound the alarm at City Hall about their leader. Within the last year, about 24 firefighters, including supervisors, went on record with concerns about Johnson City's fire chief.
And many of them mentioned threats, lack of trust, low morale. Community watchdog Nate Morabito found out city officials interviewed them as part of an internal investigation into alleged workplace harassment.
That investigation did not substantiate workplace harassment, but did find the chief possibly abused a subordinate. In the last 3 months, we've listened to more than 13 hours worth of taped interviews. Despite firefighters' concerns, the city manager says the chief has his full support. While firefighters battled flames last year, public records show they fought another battle internally.
I'm just nervous to come to work.
It all started with a workplace harassment complaint filed by Lieutenant Tommy Varan, alleging Mark Scott bullied, harassed, and threatened him over the course of 25 years. Once a candidate for captain and assistant chief positions, Varan told the city's investigator he wasn't happy with the department's promotion process, but said he and others had more serious concerns.
People are fed up and sick and tired of living in tyranny.
Over the course of several months last year, everyone from rookie firefighters to ranking officers shared their interactions with the chief. Several of them said Scott, a longtime department administrator, has a history of unprofessional behavior.
Cursing, you moron, you idiot.
Verbally berating firefighters, making fun of them, and in the years before he became chief, sometimes far worse.
We'd be sitting at the dinner table and he would talk about he could shoot someone and they would never hear the gun go off.
He did it sometimes jokingly and sometimes he was serious. You just didn't know how to take it.
I've seen him reload ammunition and stuff at work, and I've heard him tell employees, different people, that I'm putting a little extra in this and for you.
To some, the comments seemed harmless. To others, they were far from that.
When we have a meeting and stuff, I try to sit closest to the door.
He might say it in a jokingly way, but he means every word of it. I don't feel safe.
We didn't take it serious. Looking back, we should have.
Then there's this silent video, which shows Scott with a bullwhip, apparently laughing with firefighters. But one of them said in the moments before that video, he saw Scott take the joke to another level.
I have actually witnessed him chase an employee in the back parking lot with a bullwhip.
Throughout the years, firefighters said Scott's acted aggressively at fire scenes, sometimes getting physical. Since the city manager named him chief in 2011, firefighters said they have not heard death threats.
It's kind of always out of control.
But since 2011, other issues caught their attention.
He referred to Jerome as Gomer Paul the whole time that I worked over there.
Take his newest assistant chief, a man who previously served as captain.
I've heard people say that's what he calls me. He's never called me that in person.
There's also his speech to the city's newest firefighters in February 2015.
Talked about how he couldn't wait to get out of the department.
Several recruits recounted the meeting.
Could have been a little bit more motivating and positive.
Like the supposed threats, some rookies saw it as harmless, but others walked away discouraged.
We all kind of left a little shell-shocked.
It's no secret many of the firefighters in the department have had their issues with the chief in recent years, but they say he's always had a fair shot.
I'm not beyond feeling there's an organized approach to move me along.
He told the internal investigator he thinks a group of firefighters are mad at him for a variety of things and now want him gone.
If they want to hold a grudge toward me, that's up to them, but I want to go to sleep at night.
And he said he sleeps well.
Was there any seriousness to
No.
to the threats? Or
There was nothing's happened.
The threats, he said, were nothing more than fire hall jokes.
If I said it, I was kidding about it.
Comments he says he hasn't made once since becoming chief. He said the comments about his new assistant fire chief were never meant to be hurtful.
Regretfully so, I said it. And Jerome is not that person.
The claims that he raised his voice and grabbed firefighters at fire scenes, he said if they did occur, it was all in the interest of trying to fight a fire and keep the public and his employees safe.
Who don't yell at a fire scene to get somebody to hear him?
And his comments to those new firefighters, he said he couldn't recall, but admitted if he could,
Would I like to retire? Absolutely.
he would walk out the door. He's technically not eligible for full retirement until March 2017.
Absolutely, we support the fire chief.
And it doesn't look like he's going anywhere before then.
Do you think discipline was warranted in this matter?
No, I do not. Chief Scott and I have had a couple of discussions about it.
A memo reveals the city's internal investigation did not substantiate workplace harassment, but did find evidence that his use of profanity or abusive language may have violated the fire department's abuse of a subordinate code. The human resources director concluded many of the comments were the result of the fire department's culture, similar to that of a locker room.
I do not believe at all that Chief Scott has sincerely threatened anybody.
You don't find those comments unacceptable from a supervisor?
Those types of comments, now that we have a complaint about them, are not acceptable by anyone, including the firefighters.
This actually isn't the first time the city's received a complaint mentioning a threat. Records reveal in 2009, a firefighter said others heard Scott make similar comments.
Mark Scott denied having ever said it.
It reportedly went unfounded, but the city did warn Scott, even in a joking manner, it would not be tolerated. Despite the past and all of the firefighter comments, the city manager says he is not concerned about the department's leadership.
Fire chief has done an extraordinary job in increasing the service levels provided to the citizens. And our job number one is to ensure that we have quality services for the citizens of Johnson City.
Peterson says it's possible a vocal minority is trying to misrepresent the department and use the past to push this man out.
I don't think it's an epidemic as perhaps some of the folks in the Fire Bureau would like to present it to be.
But talk to the Johnson City Firefighters Association.
Does the association support Chief Scott?
And instead of a resounding show of support, there's mostly silence.
I'm not in a position to make that statement.
Christopher Ward says the internal investigation raised concerns.
There's definitely room for improvement.
And the association expects some kind of change as a result, especially since in this memo, HR promised possible internal actions and structural changes to improve efficiency, professionalism, and a greater sense of overall accountability. In the meantime, he says firefighters are just focused on keeping the public safe.
We're going to wait and see what the city recommends and form our own opinion at that time.
Nate, 8 months after that investigation, the Firefighters Association told you that they are not still aware of any changes. You asked the city manager about this?
Yeah, we did. And Pete Peterson, the city manager, told us the department's updated its requirements for promotions so that a firefighter knows exactly the correct career path. So it's crystal clear. He says the city's created another captain's position. It's also considering adding other supervisory positions and more training. I also want to mention we made multiple attempts to try and talk with Chief Scott for this story to get his side of the story, but through a city spokesperson, he declined an interview.
All right, Nate Morbido. Nate, thank you. Sarah?